What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the PrizePicks Show. Only 3 games on tonight's NBA slate. We've got some really good picks for you. Going to be a fun one. And first time dipping our toes into some of these demon plays on this show. Let's get right into it. I'm going to bring up our tool here. And one of the first plays that shows up near the top here is Jaden Ivey more than his points projection. Our guy Sam Chowdhury has been dominating NBA props all season, especially over the last month or so. Ivey was one of the first guys that he went to today. So we've got a ton of confidence in this play, as you can see from our projection, almost 18 points versus the PrizePicks projection, now up to 15. Earlier, it was at 14.5. I don't like this half-point move, and I'll tell you why I don't like it. We look over here at the win percentage for this play individually, only 57.2%. Pretty surprising given the fact that it's near the top of our rating system. The rating, by the way, is based solely on the difference between our projection and PrizePicks projection, measured by the standard deviation difference. So not the raw difference, but the standard deviation difference. The reason why this one's only 57.2% is because it's no longer on a half point. At 14.5, there were only 2 outcomes. It would either finish more or he would finish less than that number. Here, with this projection at 15, there's also that third outcome where it could potentially tie. That hurts us. We don't want ties because that takes us to a lower payout, but not just a lower payout where, oh, of course it goes lower because this one is just a push, but goes to a payout that is more favorable for PrizePicks, less favorable for us. That's why I always live at the 4-pick power play, 5-pick flex play, 6-pick flex play. So I don't like ties ever. So I'm less inclined to use Ivey. So right away, here's what I'm going to do. Ivey's demon projection is 19.5. So I can go into this user line. I can type in 19.5. And now it's still on more. I can add this to the entry. 37.9% for this one to hit. Of course, it's going to be lower. This is a demon. Whether or not this is a good percentage, we're going to find out as we build out the rest. Here's an interesting stat for Ivey. His role has really changed over the last month or so. In the last 10 games, his number of drives per game has gone from 10.5 all the way up to 13.6. In the same time, Cade Cunningham has gone from driving 17.6 times per game all the way down to 14.1. In other words, these two are really inversely correlated. We can see that over the last 10 games. Can certainly see it in a 1-game sample. If Ivey's taking the ball to the hole, if he's the lead of the offense for a night, Cunningham is forced to take a step back. So let's go to this Pistons Magic game and let's see. Sure enough, because we are seemingly ahead of the curve on Ivey's new role, we're also a little bit ahead of the curve on Cunningham's new role, just a little bit less than it was previously. So we already show an edge on Cunningham, less than 21.5 points. As I add this, check out this correlation bonus all the way up to 3.2%. That's phenomenal. We love that type of correlation. This is going to be the foundation of all of my PrizePicks plays tonight. I'm going to mix and match with these two. We're going to build out an example of a 4-pick play that can work with this, but just know this is my centerpiece. This is my core for the night. Everything else is just trying to maximize the advantage that I perceive with this pairing right here. A note, this power play EV down at the bottom, that is assuming the traditional PrizePicks payout. So anytime you do this, anytime you include a demon, you're going to have to ignore the expected value. Instead, you can look at the win probability. You can look at true odds. I'll get to true odds in a second. Let's build out a 4-pick play, and then I will kind of talk a little bit more about how to use this. So right away, Wendell Carter Jr. just pops at the top. I like this play quite a bit as well. I'm going to add him. He's at 59.3%, and sure enough, he added to the correlation here. Obviously, I love that. And now I recall Josh Hart, less than 10.5 points is one that we really like, 65.1% to hit. Makes sense. What Hart does well, the hustle plays, the offensive rebounds, hitting some threes in transition, all that stuff. Boston just does a really good job of. And Hart doesn't get to this number often anyway. If you go look at like Hart's game log, he'll have some games where he scores and for whatever reason, he's the hot hand or whatever. He also has a lot of games where he is just not at all involved in the scoring. So I really like this. Now, this power play expected value, only 10%. That's, again, assuming that the 4-pick play here is plus 1,000. In fact, with the demon included, it's actually plus 1,700. So the way that I'm going to evaluate this is I'm going to compare that to the true odds plus 809. That would actually be plus 909 on PrizePicks, just based on the way that they pay out. But 909 versus 1,700, that's a major, major advantage. So I absolutely love this 4-pick play. You can see how advantageous it is. Final note here for the day. I was asked a really good question in the Discord yesterday, which is, how do I use the expected value, the true odds, the win probability to build plays? In fact, the specific question was, what expected value should I be shooting for? And I'm going to stray away from that a little bit. I'm going to say, number one, I do want more often than not to focus on the expected value. If we weren't building a demon play here, expected value tells you everything that you need to know. Because we have the demon, I kind of have to use the true odds to estimate what the expected value would be. Like in this case, it's going to be close to 100%, going basically double to 1,700. Again, that would be 909, so almost doubling that to 1,700. The win probability, I think, is just a really good reminder of where your expectations should be, right? Like, I absolutely love this 4-pick play. It's only going to hit 11% of the time. I can't go throwing a ton of my bankroll at this play because far more often than not, it's going to lose, and I'm going to make $0 for the night. In fact, I'm going to lose on that slip. So finally here, I want to talk about the fact that, we are projecting quite literally about 1,000 props per day. Our projections, I think, are fantastic. We do a really nice job of, number one, projecting each player, but then also baking in some uncertainty where this 65.1% number for Josh Hart, for example, that's saying in 65.1% of our 10,000 simulations of that game, he gets less than 10.5 points. And part of the reason for that is because baked into those 10,000 simulations are instances where we are wrong about what he should score on a given night. It's when we are wrong about his usage rate. It's when we are wrong about his 3-point percentage or how many threes he's going to take. So we have enough uncertainty baked in, but we're still going to be wrong sometimes about the baselines, right? We're not going to go 1,000 for 1,000 projecting these props. When you have correlation, this is a key point. When you have correlation as a big reason why the expected value is as good as it is, why the play looks as good as it does, you can be that much more confident in it. I am 100% sure that this play correlates extremely well. I can't be 100% sure that every single projection is perfect. The projections can be wrong in the opposite direction too, right? Like maybe this isn't 65%, maybe it's 70% to hit. Maybe Carter isn't at 59%, he's at 65%. But it's also possible that this is 60, this is 55, et cetera, et cetera. I know with certainty that this play is extremely well correlated. That makes me all that much more confident in the play itself. It's why Ivy and Cunningham are going to be the foundation of my PrizePicks plays tonight. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Catch you next time.